All right, I hope it's gonna be interesting and easy for most of you. I see some people here with me, so I don't know if that's gonna be the first experience of you guys with the Cyrillic alphabet, or maybe not. But anyway, I hope you guys have fun with this. I try to prepare something, friendly and easygoing, let's say. Welcome everybody. Hello, hello and welcome. I'm Patrick. I'm Brazilian, but I've been passionate about Slavic languages for the last 10 years, let's say. Yeah, my first Slavic language was Russian, and I've started studying Russian, I guess, in 2014. So, and since then, I keep studying more and more Slavic languages. They are just fantastic to me. And that's why I decided to bring this interesting topic, at least. That's very interesting for me. Because I don't know, I think Slavic languages are just like comfortable place inside my own mind. I hope this is so interesting for you guys as it was for me for preparing it. So let's see. Here I have reading Cyrillic in 30 minutes. Quick and interactive crash course. So feel free to drop your questions here in the chat or preferably at the end. And also to interact with me. So I'm a teacher, so I love this interactions. It makes everything more dynamic. So let's see. I hope it's gonna be interesting for you as it is for me. Okay, first of all, I think it's important for us to see where does it come from, the Cyrillic alphabet, and why do you have these two guys here? Maybe you guys are familiar with this story, maybe yes, maybe not. But there are Saint Cyrillus and Methodius from the Byzantine era, and originally they developed an alphabet to put in a written form the Slavic languages in order to spread the gospel. But the first time that they did that, it was the Glagolitic alphabet that was not the Cyrillic one. And after this alphabet, their disciples started to develop another alphabet. That's what we have from the Cyrillic alphabet. This Cyrillic alphabet, the name of the saint, the Cyrillic alphabet is present nowadays in a lot of different Slavic languages. I'm going to dive in soon. But the funny thing here is it's actually partially based on the Greek alphabet. So when you compare like reading in Russian and Hebrew, for example, that was my last workshop. Hebrew is like scary. Everything is very different. But when you try with Russian, for example, not so much. You start to see some familiar faces there, like familiar letters and sounds. And we can explore these advantages in order to read faster. That's what I intend to do today. But so, of course, they needed to add more letters to represent the sounds that were not present in the Greek language. So you're going to see that. But that would be a very interesting approach also to talk about the evolution of the Cyrillic alphabet. But that's not the topic for today. So I'm going to make it this very brief introduction. And let's dive in because I really want you guys to start reading in case you don't even know how to read. That's okay. I was like, but Patrick, I've never had any contact with Slavic languages. I can't read a single letter. Okay, not a problem at all. You're gonna learn today. First of all, some languages that use Cyrillic script today. Because as I mentioned before, I love Slavic languages, but not all the Slavic languages are going to use the Cyrillic alphabet. But here we have the languages that really use it. I'm focusing on the languages that I have more familiarity with, like Russian. That's the languages that I can speak. It was my first language. Ukrainian, Belarusian, and What else you have? Serbian, Macedonian. Interesting fact, even though they all use the Cyrillic alphabet, they present some differences to us. So the point here is like, imagine that, like I did, you want to learn Russian and then Belarusian or Serbian or Macedonian. You don't need to learn again how to read that, but you need to learn the in a very ugly way, I would say you need to learn the updates. So you have the Cyrillic alphabet, and when you go to the second language, you are going to update. So it's like, okay, what is the new sounds that we have here? What is the difference that we have between this language and this one? Think about that. It's like, Patrick, but you say that's Cyrillic, reading a Cyrillic script. Are you gonna teach us all the variations there? No, not really. Not really. For one reason, I would like to give you the way that I did. That was my natural path. And believe me, guys, I haven't learned like that, like learning all the Cyrillic script and adapting that. I started learning Russian. So I'm going to use the Russian alphabet as the base. But before you curse me, you kill me, I was like, but Patrick, I'm interested in Serbian, not Russian. Or I want to learn Ukrainian or Macedonian. Okay, don't worry. All you have to do is to follow this workshop, practice what I'm going to teach today, and then adapt to the language that you are going to learn in the future. Trust me, it's gonna work. Everything's gonna be okay. Let's see. Here we have Russian alphabet. Now we're not not Cyrillic alphabet anymore. Of course, it's a Cyrillic alphabet, but Russian version of it. Okay. And we have two sounds here that they are not going to be in the presentation today, and I'll tell you why. Because they are signs. We have the soft sign and the hard sign, and they kind of alterate the sound of the word. They make a vowel softer or harder. But as a beginner, I don't see any reason to spend a lot of effort and time on it. First, you should be able to read, and then you need to polish. That's gonna sound weird. You need to polish your Russian. But anyway, you get my point, right? So let's see what we have here. Oh, this teacher is crazy. How are you gonna start teaching something by just throwing some random words at us? Sounds weird, right? But not so much. For one specific reason here. Those are not random words. They're all calculated. Most of the letters you're going to see here, they have the same sound in the Latin alphabet and the Cyrillic alphabet. For example, let's take a look at the second word that we have here. I think you all can read that without effort. Mama, right? That's the word for mom. M-A-M-A. It's exactly the same sound, right? Let's see the first one. Oh, there's something strange there. Because I have ko, and then I have something that I can read. And then I have a E letter there. What if I tell you that this is coffee? Yeah, that's right, coffee, coffee. So now you know, I was like, okay, the other letters are just the same. But now I have a new sound with me. That's the F. And there you go. The third one, a little bit different, I guess. I'll make it easier for you. Now, we have in blue, all the letters are just the same. First word is going to be coffee, as you know. Mama. Number 3, bank. Can you see that it looks like a B? It's a little bit different. The third letter there, the third word, first letter, bank. Bank. It's very similar. Come on. It's not so scary. Okay. What about the word number 4? We have the T, A. There is an H there. But this is not your friend. This is not your friend. Because it sounds entirely different. This H sounds like N. And the other letter there sounds like Ts. Tensor. That's a dancer. Tensor. Ts. Ts. Oh, now we have 2 more letters. N, that looks like H, and Ts. So, pay attention to what I'm telling you. So far, you only have to really memorize two letters here. F from coffee and Ts from tensor. But the rest, they are literally the same or similar. Coffee, mama, bank, tensor. And the other one, oh, it starts like a P, but it's not a P. Again, if that's not blue, you have a problem. Which problem is that? The problem is, this sounds different. This is, oh, that's going to sound a little bit difficult in case you don't know the sound. If you speak Spanish, for example, you know a very similar sound there. That's the R sound. Not so strong like in Spanish, and you say like perro. But here you have a restaurant. A restaurant. There is similarity with Greek. Yes, exactly. Actually, the Cyrillic alphabet was based on the Greek alphabet with some minor differences. No, not that much, with differences, but it's based on the Greek alphabet. So if you know the Latin alphabet plus the Greek alphabet, this is a piece of cake for you. Here we have restaurant. Second line, now I have something interesting here. What is this guy that looks like, why? Another false friend, because this sounds like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is not the same. If that were the same, that would be in blue, but it's not the same. Here we have musei. At the end of this word, museum, we have something that looks like eyebrows. What is that? This makes something similar to the E sound, but more like Y sound. Think about the word yogurt. Yogurt. The beginning of the word yogurt. That's what we have. Musei. Yogurt. That's very important because we have a twin letter that's exactly the same without the eyebrows, right? Okay, let's see. Make it a little bit better now. Red means same shape, different sound. Look at the next word we have. We have the word. What do you think it is? It seems like brachial. I don't know the word in English. It's similar to in Esperanto. Oh, that's very interesting. I should apologize. I don't speak Esperanto, but I would like to. I think I should. But as you can see, you can create a lot of relations with that. It's not isolated thing. The Cyrillic alphabet, it's not so complicated. Yes, doctor. We have the D there. It looks similar to doctor. But here comes a pronunciation thing, but normally when we see like crash courses for the alphabets, we don't focus so much on these details, but I do consider that's very important. O is O, but sometimes in Russian, it's gonna sound like A or schwa sound. Oh, Patrick, you're telling me that O is not O? Yes, O is O, except when it's not. How am I going to know? So here we have doctor, doctor, doctor. The second O is not so strong, right? There's a very popular word in Russian that is хорошо. 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 If you look at the scripts, I forgot to put it in this presentation, but it's like it has like O, O, O. So it's supposed to be like хорошо. But no, like хорошо. The O sound is going to be O only when it's a strong syllable. Here, doctor. Okay, now we have, what is the next one? What do you think? After doctor, what do you think we have? There's a B that's not exactly the B. As we discussed it previously, yes, as we discussed it previously in the word bank, B is a little bit different, but here we have a literal B. What is that? That's the V sound. So here we have auto, 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 car. Very good. What is the last one? Oh, that make it easier. Yeah. The last one, I think that's an easy one to read, especially if you're familiar with the Greek alphabet or if you're good at math, because you use this letter a lot, the first letter of the last word. Passport, exactly. Passport, passport. Here we have the sound for P, passport, passport. So this might be a little bit confusing at the beginning. We have the P that looks like P but sounds like R, and P from Greek. That's literally passport, Patrick. Okay, so far so good, I guess. Yep. Let's go for round two, because that's not the end, not yet. Now we have more words, and we start with a very different letter. This first one, this okay, in my perspective, that was a very beautiful letter that forms the first word, that is жарко, жарко, жарко. Patrick, for God's sake, we have O there, but it says жарко. I know, because the word is like жарко. So I need to reduce the sound of O there. Жарко, жарко. And here we have J sound. I was telling that very beautiful letters. I agree, 100%. Like I love this alphabet. I love this linguistic family, all of it. And here we have жарко. So now you know the word for the letter for J sound. J. And it's gonna appear a lot. Жарко, жарко. Second one, we have something very funny because it looks like the number 4. It is, admit. That was my first impression when I started learning Russian. And it was like, okay, that's the number 4. Yeah, you can think like that. This has the sound of ch, ch, человек, человек, человек. And careful about one thing. Look at this word that I have. Человек, человек, person, человек. We have the E there, but this letter normally has a sound of ye. Ye. It's a little bit different. Человек. Кофе. Человек. You see that? And this beautiful number 4, it's Chip. That's a funny thing because number 4 in most Slavic languages is like 4. 4. Or H upside down. True. Could be the H upside down. What's number 4 or H upside down? Добрый день. Oh, that's funny. That's something I should have asked before. Like, I would like to know that from you guys. Like, what is your mother language? Because maybe if you don't mind, please drop here in the chats. Like, what is your mother language? Polish. Nice. To jest mój ulubiony język. Very good. Okay. German, English, Welsh. Oh wow. Surprising. Japanese. Czech. Okay. Czech's a great language. So that's totally based. I'm always in love for Slavic languages. So as you can see. Spanish. Hola, bienvenido. Bienvenida. No sé, la verdad. Okay, let's see. Here, word number 3, we have this word. That's it. Sounds like char. Oh, Spanish speaker, you're not gonna have a problem with char, which means ball or balloon. Polish. Fantastic. Yes. Good perception. Char. So now you have, pay attention to me. Now you have new letters. First one, you have the j sound, jark, ch sound like человек, the L there. For me, it looks a little bit like an elephant, like человек. And now, shar. That's the sh sound, sh. Next word we have shit. That means shield. A little bit different, and this is not very pedagogical. This is not something so nice that I'm gonna say right now. So maybe a regular book would not recommend like that. If you can't make the difference between sh and sh at the moment, don't worry. You should focus your effort on the things you can do right now, and it's going to give you 80% of the alphabet. So in case you mix these 2 letters there, it's going to be a problem, but people will understand you, you can read, everything's going to be okay. But the second one is longer. It's like shit. Oh. Last one. First line. Now we have maybe my favorite sound in Russian. Here we have the word dim. Looks a little bit like E, yeah, but it's not. This letter this funny letter that looks like B plus I. That's actually one letter there, dim. This is U sound, U. We don't have that in English. So here goes a pronunciation tip, at least that's how I like to do. When you are facing some sounds that you think, okay, this doesn't exist in my language. How am I able to do that? And that's not going to be a very good idea if you listen and repeat. So we have an English native speaker here. So if you try to explain people like, okay, the difference between ear and ear, I was like, oh, listen to me and repeat. Chances are foreigners are going to repeat after you, but they don't even realize the difference there. It's like, okay, that's all the same. If I can't realize Which kind of sound is that? What should I do? Great. No, I'm kidding. So what should you do is try to learn how this sound is pronounced, how the muscles will be positioned in order to create this sound. So here we have the sound. There's like a smile there, there's like a friction here. And then you make some effort here in the throat, the side part of the throat, to make the sound and maybe you tell me like, Patrick, come on, I can't speak like that. I was like, oh, I can read that. I was like, okay, with practice, it's gonna sound better, much more natural. Dear English speakers, it's the same for Brazilians when we learned the TH sound. For the first moment, you're gonna see people doing like, oh, I think. I was like, but that's not natural. Why do you need all that? I was like, just the beginning. With practice, that sounds better. So you have sound. Dim, dim. Oh, by the way, first word, jarka. Jarka, not oh, jarka means hot. Человек, person, шар, ball or balloon, depending on the context. Sheet, shield, dim, smoke. So far, so good. And maybe Polish and Czech speakers, they can understand the vocabulary just by listening to it, because it sounds similar sometimes. Let's go for the second line. And now what we have is echo. Echo. This is strange first letter that look like I don't know what it looks like. Maybe inverted E. That's a sound. I think we have Portuguese speakers here, or Brazilian Portuguese speakers. Acento, acento agudo. Echo. That's the a sound. Echo. Exactly. And then we have this false friend. It's not X. This sounds like H. So, for example, you're gonna use this X to laugh when you're typing in Russian, for example. You're like, ha ha ha. Like, it's gonna be sorry guys, I don't have the Cyrillic keyboard here with me, but if you're going to laugh, that's gonna be like ha ha ha. So it's a ha sound. And then echo. Let's go for the next one. This fantastic, beautiful, amazing letter there. It's U. You sound, you, like this, you. So think like I'm a teacher bringing incentive to the student. And I was like, you know what's incredible? You. So this letter is incredible. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. You're incredible. Yubka. Yubka. Yubka means. Okay, I'll save it this. I will not translate. If you guys want to risk that based on skirt. Very good. Skirt. Yubka. Next one, that's going to be very simple. You should learn that, yeah. Język. Język. Oh, Polish speakers. Język. Język. Funny thing. We had the number 3 there. Yes, thank you. Język. We had the number 3 there in the middle of the word. It was like, Patrick, why do we have numbers there? That's not a number 3. That sounds like a Z sound. Z. Język. Język. And the first letter of this word. Yeah, perfect. The first letter of this word. Yeah, that's very important. This is literally R twisted. This sounds like yeah, and this is the word for I. Yeah, is Brazilian. I'm from Brazil. Yazık, yazık. Next one. Now we have G sound for gruz. That means load or cargo, or Portuguese like cargo, load, gruz. So we have the G, bukva G. There, this is G. Funny thing, a lot of words in Russian, they don't sound like in English, and we changed the H sound for G. For example, in Russian, you're not gonna say Harry Potter. You're gonna say Gary Potter. Gary, yeah. You're not gonna say hamburger, you're gonna say Gamburger. G, which is funny, but easy to remember. Last one, we have a very friendly E letter with two dots, as it looks like. Exactly, yeah, get him, yes. This very funny letter with the umlaut, if you're German, there. This changed the sound. Instead of yeah, now we have yo. This is like a rapper with sunglasses. Yo. And here you have yours. That is hedgehog, like Sonic hedgehog. Uh, yours. Careful. Interesting thing. Some texts, they do not use the umlaut or the two dots above. They just remove it. They ignore it, and you have to know. Oh, Patrick, come on. How am I gonna know that? Oh, easy. By experience. Come on. You're gonna be reading. Show you. Wait, what is the reason for using G instead of H sound? That's a good question. Honestly, I have no idea. But in other Slavic languages, even from the same branch of the family, like in Ukrainian, you're not gonna use G anymore. You say like huh. Sorry, this is a sound in Ukrainian that I struggle to pronounce a little bit. That's a huh sound. Huh. So as far as I know, not all the Slavic languages are gonna do the same, but in Russian, yes, we have like Gari, German, yes, Gamburger. That's interesting to memorize. But it happens in Russian, not necessarily in all Slavic languages that use the Cyrillic alphabet. Okay, here a little bit more colorful in order to help you. And I told you guys that I would be focusing on the Russian alphabet, and we covered all the Russian alphabet so far, except the signs that I mentioned at the beginning, the Myaksnak. But good news, you can read. Yeah, trust me, you can read now. So for example, we can even get to the beginning of that, and you see the cover of this book. You see that? Tolstoy. And then there's one last fake friends that I tried that I forgot to mention. There's a C there. C always sounds like sound, not k. Like you cannot say like castle. Always like Tolstoy, Dev Nikolaevich. You can read. You see that? Anna Karenina. There. Try. You have superpowers now. Believe me. Now, and before we dive into the other Slavic languages, interesting tip. I don't have the keyboard here to demonstrate it, but in order to practice and don't be stuck because you have a small vocabulary, you can write in your own native language, adapting the Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah. Um, that's interesting for you to practice also. And try to read. Try to read. And one of the reasons also I started with Russian is we have a lot of free online materials to read Russian. So you can keep practicing. Right, let's see. That's a game here. How to identify any Slavic language at a glance. It's possible to play this game with the other Slavic languages also, even if they use the Latin alphabet. They all have something that identifies them, but I'm going to focus on the Cyrillic alphabet. So if you see this little guy there, it's like, here we have like the Cyrillic alphabet and Belarusian. This is Ukorotka. This is very characteristic sound for Belarusian language, like Lovchow, the end of this. When you read, I was like, come on, I'm reading and I can't really understand that. That's probably Belarusian. If you see the letter, like Belarusian. If you see the Y with eyebrows, Belarusian. But what about the rest? It's also possible to see that. Take a look. Ukrainian, you're gonna see this I with double dot. It's an I with umlaut. And the second letter also. But honestly, the first one is very characteristic. Ukraine. Macedonian also. Macedonian have oh god, Macedonian is a very beautiful language. But we have this K sound. That's the second one. Also very characteristic. When you see that, it's like, oh, Macedonian. Yeah. Serbian also, and then Bulgarian. And one point here. The Bulgarian letter, sorry guys, I don't speak Bulgarian. I don't really know the sound, but there's one thing I know. This letter also appears in other Slavic languages, but Bulgarian is the only Slavic language that this letter appears very frequently. So when you take the text and you say like, oh, I see a lot of this text, oh, Patrick mentioned that, okay, that's Bulgarian. It's gonna help you to identify. So as I said at the beginning, in case you want to learn different Slavic languages, like Macedonian, for example, if you know how to read in Russian, it's going to be easier for you to read in Macedonian. Yeah. If you already know, so you go there by differences. That's a smart move. So even if, of course, it's possible to learn in the most difficult way, that would be learn the entire Cyrillic alphabet and then adapt. It's like you can take Old Church Slavonic and then you learn how to read. And from that on, you start to use like, okay, Russian goes like this, Macedonian goes like this, Ukrainian goes like this. But I don't really like this approach. But I understand that every person is different and learn a different way. If you like it, go for it. But my suggestion would be like learn to read in Russian and then you read by differences. And it's also easier to find content, a lot of content, a lot of. And then we have Огромное спасибо. Thank you very much. If you guys have questions for me, just drop them here or ask them right away. I would love to answer to that. If not, I hope that was being very useful for you. I hope you can really use this. In case you like the presentation and you want the presentations, like I would like to see the slides. Can you send me? Yes. Here you have my Instagram. You can go there, send me a message, and then I share my slides with you. If you think like, okay, that was well organized, I think it's easy to see like that. Okay, in this case, just let me know. Yeah. What was the first book you read in Russian? That's a very good question. I have a pile of books here, and they are all in different languages. And the first book that I read in every language goes there to that pile. Because I use that as I don't know, like a reminder. When I feel demotivated, it's like, come on, I could read that. And actually, I give this suggestion to you guys: like the first book that you read in a foreign language, buy the physical version of it and leave it there with you. I'll try to show you guys the book. I hope I don't break my scenario. Um, Almost. So that was my first book in Russian. Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle, Рассказы о Sherlock Holmes. I love Sherlock Holmes, and that was the first one that I read. I still have it with me. I do recommend you guys do that. It's going to give you extra motivation just by remembering. Right, let's see. Have you bought Cyrillic keyboard? No, not really. Not really. Normally, when I'm going to write in Cyrillic, I use the cell phone because it's simple. But also that's a good idea. That's a good idea. If you prefer to use like the notebook or something, I would definitely recommend you to. Gracias. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Would you give the same tip, just reading or not understanding for Greek as well? Well, let's see. Just reading but not understanding. Honestly, I don't think that's so interesting. Like just reading and not understanding. What I would recommend is like if you're at the beginning, just go for like bilingual. And I forgot to mention that there's a bilingual book. We have it starts in Russian, but then the second part is in English. So of course that's an option. Also, just read without understanding. But personally, I think that's not very motivating. I like to read something and understand. It's like, okay, this is now I understand what I'm reading. So you can start with simple texts and start understanding. And for Greek also, I followed kind of the same process to learn Greek. Same process that I did with Russian. You can get a Cyrillic keyboard for free here. Unfortunately, all restrictions are in German. Oh, nice. I didn't know. I didn't know. Very useful tip. Unfortunately, the download instructions are in German. Yeah, so that's the thing. One more incentive. Learn German, guys. That's a great language also. Um, so yeah, in short, I would not simply read something that I can't understand. Maybe I would read, and that goes an extra tip. If you are like, oh, but I'm very basic. I'm at the beginning. So okay, take a small text, translate it, read the translation, and then get back. And then you read in the new alphabet. That's going to give you extra motivation. And if you feel the necessity, honestly, for Russian, I didn't feel this necessity, but if you feel the necessity, I normally feel that for very different languages, like Chinese or Hebrew. Also, I did that. Use like flashcards. But for Russian, honestly, I don't think it's necessary. Well, if you guys have more questions, please let me know. We're almost at the end. The first book of Esperanto actually was in Russian. Let's start to practice. Oh, nice. Nice. That's a great language. Спасибо. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your time. And wish you good luck in your language learning journey. I hope you guys keep following that and learn Russian or Ukrainian or Belarusian or Slavic languages. That's a wonderful word, I promise. That's it. Thank you so much. See you next time.